So Shaun is now the CEO. Last time he was on the podcast, he was COO, right, of CartonCloud, and CartonCloud is a WMS. But I'm gonna let Shaun tell us exactly what CartonCloud is because he's the man now. He's gonna give the best explanation.
So I guess there's a lot of pressure. First pitch as the CEO. but,
Yeah.
so we're obviously a cloud-based software company that we have a WMS and a TMS designed for asset-based 3PLs, doing either warehousing, transport, or both. And we're really targeting the SMBs. So we're designing the software in a way that makes it as easy to use and intuitive as possible, fast time to value, flexibility to take on sort of a range of different customer profiles. So we've been sort of really focusing on that market, and we've been able to service some quite large customers who have gaps in their tech stack, but really fundamentally we're targeting that SMB space.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love that you guys are focused on that because that's such a core market, I think, for the overall movement of goods within our just society in general, right? I mean, we obviously see, the big names and the big labels, brands out there, and things that are doing things within our industry, but there's so many of those smaller, medium-sized business, family businesses, things like that are doing things, shipping, and people that are starting out too, and maybe have their own products, and they're just trying to figure out how do I ship this stuff, right? So it's great that you're focusing on that, and tell us a little bit about kind of over, I think it's been about a year since maybe we had you on the podcast, right? So why don't you tell us kind of a little bit what's been happening with CartonCloud over that last year or so, and how you guys have been evolving.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the last year or so, we've hit a couple of key milestones. One of the really cool things we've delivered is kind of our next generation mobile application. And so we've designed the mobile application to be incredibly configurable. So now basically everything that's appearing on the mobile application is both cross-platform, so we can support iOS and Android, because like you say, some of those start-out operations don't want to go and buy a $3,000 Honeywell device they can run over with a forklift. They want to be able to use their smartphone and just sort of start interacting with the system. So we've deployed some new functionality there that's, I think, really best of breed in terms of unique reference handling, sort of end-to-end, which is always a tricky spot for software companies. I think, there's serial numbers and fridges with unique references. Systems want to tend to try and overcomplicate things and tell you which fridge to pick, but if you've been on the floor and you have 15 fridges and it's telling you to go to the back, you need a little bit more flexibility to subsidize. So that's been a big update for us. It's been really well received, and I think what that's really set in place is the framework for us to essentially try and deliver like that CRM style configurable workflows to our customers, so that we don't have to have anything that's hard coded there. And it's really been very exciting to get that out into the hands of our customers, but it's also now, I think, been a lot of work in the last 12 months that set us up to deliver a lot more of that flexibility to the customers going forward. So really exciting milestone for us. We've continued to kind of grow and expand our team over here as well, and I've enjoyed another 12 months in the North American market. It's been great. I think coming originally from Australia and New Zealand, it's going to be a little bit intimidating coming into that North American market, but I think the couple of years we've been here have really showed us that the challenges are the same, the problems are the same. We've been able to help customers in the same sort of way, so it's been a really exciting 12 months, and obviously super excited to step into the CEO role and sort of get the opportunity to guide the company through the next couple of years of its growth as well. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think that's so great to see the continuous evolution there, and the flexibility being the key, right? And I think, as you mentioned, you're focused on the small to medium-sized business, and having flexibility in that space is such a key thing, because you're growing, you're figuring out new things, new challenges, and things like that. So you want to be able to be flexible with that, and you want a system that can be flexible with you too as well. So I'm curious from your perspective. I mean, it's 2024. I'm a small, medium-sized business. I'm just starting out, maybe shipping stuff, just getting into e-commerce or something like that. I want to ship myself. What am I looking for in a WMS? What am I looking for in a system? What should I be considering?
Absolutely. I think obviously connectivity. You need to be able to be integrated into the systems that you need to work with, whether you're fulfilling Shopify, Amazon, or working with ERP systems. You need to be able to connect to your systems or your customer systems, and that needs to go end to end all the way through accounting and obviously the shipping side of things. I think the other thing is it's got to be easy. It's got to be easy, an because why do we expect so much different when we talk about logistics software than we do if we're buying an accounting system or using an app on our phone? So I think that time to value is really important, because that's time that you're spending having to implement something that you should be spending running your business, making it better, winning some more customers, driving operational efficiencies. And that is a use in time. One is also going to mean that as you have new staff come in, you have new customers come in, that you've got a quick and easy way to help get them up to speed or help make them delighted. And I think the other one is like you said, flexibility. I know that's kind of repeating what we've already spoken about, but this obviously e-commerce is very much the focus of a lot of people's existence, but I think there are other fulfillment methods and other sort of channels to sell down that can be very attractive as well. So flexibility to take on different customer profiles and not just having to go and compete with the Amazons of the world and take on different profiles of customers. I think get your niche as an operator and really focus on that. And I think having the flexibility to trial different things, different methods, different workflows is really key.
Interesting. Yeah. I think it's so key there to do all these different things like you mentioned, and you talked about like bringing on different types of customers and being able to accommodate that. I mean, how are you seeing, maybe especially as you're expanding more in the North American market, and we're seeing things like TikTok Shop and things like that, and just all these different channels that brands can sell through now, right? I mean, how are you guys kind of navigating that from a WMS perspective, and how do you help those brands that are utilizing your system to be able to also kind of stay on top of all that without realizing like, hey, I'm on 10 different selling channels and I got to do one this way or one this way. I mean, how do you kind of help the customer out with that?
Yeah, it's a wild world out there. When I got our first request for a TikTok integration, I must admit, I thought, I didn't realise that was starting to be this about a year ago, and then obviously they've pivoted into e-commerce. It's exploded, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be a whole range of additional logos added on there, and I think it's really challenging for software providers, and the entire integration place is getting more complicated, as much as you'd like to see it standardized, either through like standardized sort of message structures or kind of platforms that are able to bring that together. It is a real challenge for everyone, and so we've made one of the other things we've done in the last 12 months is really make our kind of, I guess, entry into that kind of iPaaS space, integration platform as a service. We've embedded that in our application, which has been the framework for us to now bring on more of these connections much more quickly. We've also got partnerships with some great players in that space that can help customers with that, if that's their preference. But it's a challenge for operators to keep track of all the different channels they've got to fulfill out of, and also then make sure that inventory sync is up to date, product masters are up to date. And again, I think that's really where having that seamless integration experience is crucial. But I'll be honest, it feels like we've been playing catch up for a couple of years, and you see modules get released into Shopify that allow post-purchase order adjustments, and there's a 3PL. You're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're editing the order after it's already been placed for 24 hours? So it's really put the pressure on us to be able to configure different logic about when you're happy to receive changes and enable businesses to put in place those controls. But I do think it's important for 3PLs to remember that they do have a business to run, and sometimes you do need to sort of manage customer expectations on some of these things, because we've had an explosion in e-commerce that's been kind of unrestrained by the reality of the fulfillment behind it. And I think it's sort of time for the 3PLs to kind of take back some of that land, but make sure that they've got the flexibility to accommodate enough of those different channels. So it's been an interesting journey, but I think we're now pretty well set up to keep customers up to speed and stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's it's just so interesting to see all these different ways that people are buying things now, right? And it's great to see that you guys are trying to keep up with that too, and helping people that are utilizing your WMS to be able to navigate those different changes as well, and see those different things. So I'm curious from a WMS perspective, from a shipping perspective, I mean, what are you seeing this year that's kind of catching your attention, whether it's from a technology side, consumer behavior side? I mean, what's really kind of like top of mind for you guys, and how are you navigating that?
Yeah, so obviously AI, I think this year. I know I think we're all probably getting to the point of being a little bit tired of talking about it, ready to kind of see the rubber hit the road a little bit. But we've certainly been trying to keep up to date with the opportunities there. So we've embedded some AI into some of the analytics we've already provided to customers to help them make better decisions around charging, customer profiles, help them get some insights into their own business around which customers they're actually making good money on, which customers they have an opportunity to maybe revise the rate structure on. So I think that's part of it. I think we've also been designing our software in a way to be able to allow customers to potentially make changes through AI so that they can, rather than having to remember what settings to configure, they can start to interact with the system. Through that, I'm not 100% sure we'll see. I can't quite tell if we're still in the prototyping phase or if we'll see the sort of production phase of that this year, but we'll be interested to see where that goes. But I think the other trend, and I think the other evolution we'll see is those e-commerce expectations are going to sort of filter down into like fulfillment profiles that were not typically considered e-commerce. But if you're paying $15 for a t-shirt and you get a photo of it at the warehouse and updates the whole way, how come I'm not getting the same thing when I'm buying a pallet or fulfilling a truckload? So I think we'll see a lot of pressure on the case picks and the pallet picks to kind of match the same service level that the e-commerce customers started to expect. So
interesting. That's interesting. And I think it's very interesting. Obviously, you said AI is just. You can't go anywhere without hearing something about AI, seeing something about AI, and not just in our worlds here, right, in the warehouse, but just everywhere, right? So it's really interesting to see how companies are kind of adapting to that, and how end users are being receptive to that as well. And it'd be interesting to see develop around that too. So very interesting stuff with you, Shaun, and definitely always appreciate to get you on the show and talk to you guys. And I always had an affinity for you guys because you hate paper, right? You want to get rid of paper, and I think that's such a great thing. So very interesting to get on here, and congratulations on the new CEO role. If people are interested in learning more about CartonCloud or trying out the system, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, if people are interested to find out some more, obviously hit the website, CartonCloud.com. There's a bunch of information on there, customer case studies, testimonials. We have a fantastic knowledge base if you're the sort of person that likes to read a lot of documentation and watch a lot of videos, or obviously just reach out. Our phone numbers are on there, email us, fill in the form, and just talk to a real person. We'll be happy to sit down and understand what you're looking for and if we can possibly help. So. And thanks very much for having me on the show, Kevin. It is it's an honour and a pleasure to meet you in person again, and look forward to next time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will definitely put all that information up at thenewwarehouse.com as well, so people can easily find it. So this is Shaun Hagen. He is now CEO of CartonCloud. So really appreciate you coming by. Great to talk to you and great to catch up.
Thanks so much, Kevin.
Thanks so much, Shaun.